Om. My name is Prem. I am working as a professor in CMRIT, Bangalore. So I'll be talking about Svarupa Lakshana of Brahman. So the mantra goes like this. The mantra's meaning goes like this. The knower of Brahman attains the supreme. In that reference, Shruti defines Brahman as real, the knowledge and infinite, Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam. He who knows that supreme Akasha as existing hidden in the heart realizes all his desires along with the omniscient Brahman. So this is the meaning of the mantra. So let us explore this in segments. The first part, there is the term Veda used. The Veda means knower here, to know. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. However, it doesn't mean that the knower is the subject and the Brahman is the object. So to explain, in general, the act of knowing something involves three things: the knower, the known, and the act of knowing. A boy sees a pot. Boy is the knower, pot is the known, and seeing is the action. But here, Brahman is not an object of knowledge one can know. It is rather our own self, which is absolute consciousness, which can only be, for the lack of any better word, can be realized. The knower referred here is the person who has realized his own self. Once realized thus, the person is not different from Brahman. Again, this is not something one achieves through intellect or by logic. This is like teaching someone the taste of apple. Even though thousands of words can be used to express how apple tastes like, unless one actually tastes apple, one may not know how it tastes. The definition of Brahman is the second aspect. It is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Brahman is the only reality, the basis of all that exists. It is Satyam. However, it is not inert. It is sentient, full of knowledge or consciousness. It is witnessing everything. It is pure jnana. Then again, it is not just limited to any one person or so, or it's not confined to only living beings or so. It is everywhere. It is everything, and even beyond. It is beyond time, space, and causation. It is infinite. Thus, it is anantam. Next part uses the term Parame Vyoman. Brahman is compared to Akasha. Compared to all other elements, Akasha is the subtlest. That is, we know it exists everywhere, but it gives an impression of it being empty. So there is an interesting analogy of Brahman with Akasha. Let us consider a pot, Gata. Now we know that Akasha is everywhere, but what about on the inside of the pot? Can we call that Akasha is there too? If we think about it, it is the same Akasha or space that is also on the inside, Ghatakasha. It is easier to accept it if we break the pot or we destroy the pot. The Ghatakasha now merges with the Akhanda Akasha. The pot is actually our ignorance or false identity that makes us differentiate the space inside versus outside. Just like how Akasha is everywhere, so is Brahman. And next we have Nihitam Guhayam, residing in the inner heart. Now we know that Brahman is everywhere. To a naive seeker, the most obvious method would be to explore the outside world inside out. They try to explore the outer space, stars, galaxies, the universe, even multiverse, theory of multiverse, to understand the causation. Yet others explore atoms, subatomic particles, quantum mechanics, quarks, and so on, again to comprehend all that exists in entirety. Even though Brahman is everywhere, it is impossible to comprehend it if we explore it outside. Something like draining the ocean with a toothpick. Shruti helps seekers by giving them an easier route to search inside oneself. Brahman is seated at the heart in one's own body. Just by knowing one's identity, one attains Brahman. And finally, Sarvan Kaman. One who realizes this truth, there is nothing else to know. One will have desire only when there is duality. For example, a boy likes a toy. The boy desires to possess the toy. He is happy when he gets the toy and he becomes sad when he loses it. Thus, desire is something that arises because of an external object. For someone who has realized Brahman, there is nothing apart from Brahman, thus making him satiated with all his desires. Desire is generally condoned upon. It is true for all material objects. Interestingly, the desire to attain moksha, mumukshatva, which alone is actually an essential prerequisite to realize Brahman. Again, after realizing this desire also gets fulfilled permanently. Harihi Om. Thank you, sir.
Dhanyavadaha. Excellent.